one of the biggest themes throughout this summit is helping couples focus on what actually matters when planning their wedding. It is so easy to get caught up in the pressure to make everything look perfect, but we're here to shift the focus to how your wedding feels. It's about creating meaningful moments, ones that reflect love, your values, and your unique story. And in this session, we're going to be diving into one of the most powerful ways to infuse your wedding day with meaning through music. And I am joined today by David Hawkins, the founder of Your Day, Your Song, which is a company that's been creating custom songs for couples since 2007. And they don't use any AI or templates, but they do use real human musicians turning love stories into beautiful one of a kind songs. So, super excited to have you here today, David. We're going to talk through about how music can capture the heart of your relationship, how to create emotional moments on the wedding day, and how to leave lasting memories that go far beyond just the visual details of your day. So,
Thank you.
let's
Thank
get
you for
into it.
having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you. So let's start by you telling me, why do you think that music is so effective in anchoring emotions to a memory?
Yeah. And it is that, I mean, really, music is that it anchors memory, emotions. There's a lot that goes into a song production, but and we do songs for all kinds of occasions, but when we do wedding songs, it's like that just sticks with the couple, the mother, father, the whole bridal party, the guests for a very long time because it has that, like wow factor kind of, music, you growing up you could remember music when you're a kid and songs, and I even remember commercials being a kid, right? The music commercials where some of the music you just remember from like 20
Those
years ago.
jingles,
But
you just can't get them
it's,
out of your head, right?
yeah, yeah, but so yeah, I think like the cool thing about music and emotions, is that they go together like peanut butter and jelly. They're just really, you know, uh, yeah, they're really good together, and everybody loves music. Most people anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that, almost like scents, right? Like I feel like scents and like songs really can bring you back to a specific moment in your life. Like when you smell something that reminds you of a certain period. I feel the same way about music. And what
Yep.
better way to like anchor those special wedding memories than through music. And so
Yeah.
there's obviously a lot of opportunities to do that throughout a wedding day, whether it's during the ceremony or your reception. But what do you think makes like the biggest impact?
So there's a lot of things. I mean, I've been a lot of weddings over my life. I've been to a lot of weddings, and music is always like the big one, right? There's either a band or a DJ, or and then the mother and father pick out the song for their dance, and the wedding party has like their own songs what they dance into now. There's a lot of different things, but I think the wedding day music is really important to pick out, not just for the couple but for the family, because it really, you have all those great Motown songs and all those great sing along songs that everybody's dancing to, and it's just a really important thing I think when you can pick the correct music for yourself, of course, your own wedding, but also your guests and your family. But the cool thing about what we do is, you know, the song production from your own words. It's something that really we found takes over the wedding in like the best way. Because a lot of times we'll have moms and dads call us or email us and say, we're freaking out, especially dads, because the fathers don't. They're supposed to pick a song, and they're like, nothing says what I wanted to say. Everything's trash. So we're like, we'll help you, it's surprising how emotional the dads get. The moms too, of course, but the dads get super emotional when they're talking about their words, and then when they get the song back, they're just like they're over like whelmed with it. And we found that that's what happens on the wedding day too. When you have this
Yeah.
song, it's a very overwhelming thing for the mother and the father, like the mother son dance, father daughter dance. But it's a cool thing. It's very emotional.
It's so interesting that you bring that up because I'm thinking back to when I first got married back in 2009. 9. And when I was engaged and I was planning, I mentioned to my dad, like, have you worked on your speech yet? And he did not know that he was supposed to give a speech. And then all of a sudden, he felt all this pressure of like, I didn't know I had to give a speech. And I'm like, have you never seen a movie with a wedding in
Right.
it? Like, have you
Yeah.
never been to a wedding? It was so funny. I just remember that
Yeah.
so clearly.
Dads are clueless,
And
basically.
yeah, but my dad has a great way with words, and so he wrote a lovely speech. But I can imagine how helpful it would be, maybe instead of giving a speech or a toast, you could almost do that via song. And
You
so,
can. Yeah.
having I think it'd be interesting to hear like what that process is like. Like, say a dad comes to you and says, like, I want to make a custom song for us to dance, me and my daughter at the wedding. Like, what's that process look like? And how do you
Yeah.
make that feel like natural and like not intimidating to somebody who might feel like nervous about like putting their feelings out there?
Sure. And that's a great question because that's really the uh, Achilles heel of dads, I would say, is the emotion of them not wanting to put their emotion out there. But it's something magical happens. I don't even know. Like so we have online stuff where they just email us and order online, or I've gone to meet dads at like local bar, and we've talked and had a beer and talked about their emotions, and it's incredible when you really get them talking what they want to say, and I'll write it down, a couple paragraphs, and then I'll send them back lyrics because we have lyricists on staff who then will make their thoughts into lyrics. So they don't have to do much. They just have to tell us, how they feel about their son or daughter. And from that, we give them back exactly what they want to say. And the coolest things are, you know, they surprise themselves a lot of times. They'll cry because they get their lyrics back and they're like, "Oh my God, that's what I wanted to say." And I'm
Aw.
like, "Yeah, because they're from you. You said them. I know you don't think you can do that, but you said them, so they are from you." And we found that like the coolest, most emotional uh, wedding things that happen when song and dances come on that we produce is when there's surprises, right? So a lot of times the bride will say, "There's no way you're not picking my song unless I know about it." So a lot of times the dad or the mom will say, "Okay, we'll do the song that you want," and then they'll have this song too, you know, as like something that they
Oh.
really want to give them, so they can tell them how they really feel. And honestly, with the music up on the table, the sheet music, and all kinds of other things that we do, it ends up being a really special thing for the whole wedding, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think today's couples more than ever want their wedding to feel like super unique to them. Personalized details are like super, super important to many couples. They want it, their wedding celebration to reflect like who they are, their values, what they care about, what matters to them. And, doing something like this is a really unique way to like give people a peek into your relationship, especially if you do a custom song like for the two of you as the
Hmm.
wedding couple who's getting married.
Yeah,
Um,
we had them
so,
too. We've had the proposals as well. We'll actually write a song for somebody who's going to propose, and then we'll put a little, you know, 5, 10 second no sound in the middle so they can get down on their knee and propose, and then the song starts back up. So it's kind of like produced
oh,
for them to be able to ask them during the song. But yeah, I think there's so many things like in weddings today that are cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff. There's still a lot of tchotchke stuff, right? That's
yeah.
out there. It's always been there. But you know, we've been surprised but not surprised at the same time because we just love how it always turns out. It always turns out so cool. No matter if it's like the DJ just saying, "Hey, John Smith wrote a song for his daughter," and everybody's looking around that knows John. They're like, "John doesn't write music. John can't even he can't even do anything." So everybody's surprised all the time. But the couples are cool too. The couples and what they have to say are you know, a really special love song because that's their song forever, and it's really heartwarming to see the videos when we get to see them. But it's just awesome. Music is
Yeah.
a lot. It's cool.
Can you maybe share a story about a couple that you've worked with whose personalized song sort of like created a powerful emotional moment on their day? Are there any like particular stories that come to mind?
Yes. We had this couple from, I think, Colorado. They were firefighters, two women who met and fell in love, and they had a song. The one woman had a song written for her, and
Aw.
she didn't tell her about it. So when they were going to get married, their first dance was that song, and she just loved it. She kept talking about it, and she was crying, and she gave us some of the video, and it was just really important. You know what I mean? It was really like you could feel it. It was like palpable. Even through the video, you could feel that love, and you could see how she was looking at her, and it was just love. It was just beautiful. So
I
the,
love
the
that.
couples were, yeah, the couples are great. I love writing love songs, and my staff we all love it. But you know, it's just different, because when you're trying to pick out your wedding music, you're like, it seems like such a task, to do.
Yeah.
But
Especially those key moments, the special songs like your first dance as, a
mhm,
married couple, your, mother, son, or father, daughter dances, those sort of like special moments, like feels like there's a lot of weight on that decision. And it might really be tough for couples to find one song that like perfectly encapsulates how they feel about that one relationship.
yep,
So having an opportunity to do something like this where they get something truly custom that expresses how they feel specifically is so powerful and beautiful. And I can just imagine like how meaningful that is for the couples who you work with, or for, the mothers that you work with, or the fathers that you work with, or the daughters or the sons, who are doing it in the opposite way to surprise their mother or their father on those special key moments in the wedding day. I just think that's so, so special.
it is, and it's special for us. Still, I mean, we've been doing this for 18 years, and it's still super special for us because we're a part of their day in a small way, but we're a part of their day forever. Then they have their music done through us, and it's just a great feeling to be able to help people get out what they want to say, their emotions. Our productions are very high quality, so it's something you can hear on like the radio, but um, you know, it's
You're
funny
like, not
because
to brag, but they're
not to
really good.
brag, not to brag, but I was just thinking about your business model and the budget savvy bride and how it's a really great thing that you're doing to help couples and weddings to kind of not spend 30, 50 thousand dollars on a wedding. It's just so expensive. So what you're doing is great, and I think we fit into that perfectly, considering it's not expensive. It's everything's under $400. It's it, and this is something that really it does last a lifetime, and that's a shameless plug right there. But no, I do I like the concept of helping brides and grooms and weddings budget because it gets so expensive really quick.
Yeah.
I got married 5 years ago, and right in the beginning of pandemic, and we had a hall booked and everything, and so we just did it at home and had like 10 family members come over. It was real intimate, and I wrote my wife a song, and she still listens to it every
Aw.
day. But like it's really it's something special.
I really appreciate you saying that. I think the thing that I want all couples to keep in mind is like your wedding day is a fantastic day, but not everyone has like a huge amount of disposable income to put towards a party. But that doesn't mean that your wedding won't be beautiful and meaningful. And for me, I think the thing that makes the weddings most beautiful are those meaningful moments. The ways that you really get to see like the heart of the two people getting married and the people that mean the most to them. And I think that's what stood out to me so much about what you do and like your passion for what you do. And so I was really, really glad to learn about, the services you guys offer. And, when it comes to budgeting for things for your wedding, like The things that last beyond the day itself are things like your photography or videography, or in this case, a custom song, a piece of
Mhm.
music that you can listen to. Maybe you could add it to your wedding video or your wedding slideshow. There's so many ways you could use it and, listen to it and reflect back on the memories from that day and the commitment that you've made to one another. And I just think it's so cool. And honestly,
Thank
like
you.
for the service you provide, like the price is very affordable.
Thank you.
So
One of the coolest
yeah.
things about um, when we do the weddings is we stream the songs everywhere before the wedding start. So, you know, Uncle Tom and Aunt Jeannie can go home and listen to that song again on streaming on their in their car on the way home. So they just watched
Hmm.
the couple dance to the song, and then they can play their favorite streaming. We stream everywhere, so they can listen to it on the way home and kind of relive that moment. And then it's up on streaming forever, so they can share it with everybody's social media, and that's one of my favorite things I think about the wedding
Yeah.
songs is
You
that
can
it's
totally
just
add it
so
to your Instagram reel that you post on on social media afterwards.
yeah, it's easily shareable. Yeah.
I love that so much. So like let's talk a little bit about like the process again. Like what elements of a couple's love story do you find are like the best to like put in the details or like the lyrics of a song?
Yeah, so usually when we talk, we have lyricists on staff, and a lot of customers, clients will give us a couple of paragraphs or a poem or something. But when they give us a couple of paragraphs, we try to ask them just to give us your most loving memories. Give us your times that only you and your daughter, you and your son, you and your bride, you and your groom would know about. These personal moments that really wouldn't make sense to anybody else, but they do for you two, whoever those two are at the time. So we'll go off of something like that, something really emotional, not just that, but it could be like four or five different things. And then we take that and we just break it down into verses, choruses, bridge, and then make it all rhyme, make all the syllables match. And by the time we're done, there's a full song of lyrics. And a lot of times when they read the lyrics, they get choked up because it is like a poem is emotional in itself if it's about the person that you love. But when you have the music then that comes with it, that process of getting the information is just really cool and it's really emotional and that's just the beginning. Like the icing on the cake is the song, and so we send them a sample clip before we're done, just in case they want to like edit something or ask it. I don't really like that or whatever, and then we'll put it back in before we send it to them. But almost never do we get edits. They're just like, we love it, keep going.
Aw.
But yeah, the process is really, I love it. I still love doing it to this day. It's just when you can have somebody share their emotions with you, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm meant to do this. You know what I mean? Like I feel like my job is so emotional every day, and I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
That's amazing. It's like very like heart led and I love that. That speaks to me for sure.
Thank you. Yeah,
Um,
I think a lot of people in the wedding business want that, right? From their planners to the flower person to the person who's doing their wedding for them, their reverend or whoever, they want to feel that connection, and they want to feel that heart connection, and that just makes the day better.
Absolutely. So, aside from sort of those like almost like inside jokes, or like you wouldn't know about these like personal moments, unless you're like the two people involved, like what other sort of like things can couples think about to try to like express their love story in a way that would help you translate it?
Yeah. So I think the best way is just when we ask them how they feel about the person, because they light up. They want to talk about their person. They want to tell you everything about them, and they want to say why they love them, and it's really cool. So we'll ask them about that, and then a lot of times we'll get all the information we need within like 5 minutes because they're just going on and on about how they love them and why they love them. And, that's what we want to get for the other person. The songs are about both of them, really. The, whether the couple is the bride and groom or the mom and dad with the son or daughter, it's about the two people, right? So the but there's only one person usually giving the words for that song. So we try to make it where it encapsulates both of them, but also lets the person know how they feel at the same time. So it's those emotional words that come out in the song with our trained singers and our professional musicians that really come out with a lot of emotion because they're emotional words to begin with. So then when you create a song from them, it kind of brings those emotions to life, right? It like makes the song come
Mm.
alive.
So obviously you're very passionate about what you do and you love like connecting with couples, but like what would you say your favorite part is of like the creative process of creating a song?
I think it's the clients themselves, the people. I love composing music and producing music. I don't do it very much these days because I have a whole bunch of teams that do it for us, but and they're so much better at it than I am today. They have all these like bells and whistles and they're very good at it. We don't use AI though, so that's good, but we use humans and I think still the coolest
Do you have
thing,
a hard stance on that? Like what's because there's a lot of tools out there that can do things with AI. So why
yeah,
have you intentionally chosen not to do that at all?
yeah, it's not really a hard stance. It's more like You know, AI already accounts for 13% of the world's music, believe it or not. So there's a whole bunch of 10-year-olds
Wow.
in their room, you know, typing in stuff and they're 10 and this beautiful song comes out. And there's a place for that, and when I was a kid, if I had AI, it would have been so fun. I would have loved it. And we get thousands of emails from kids from another site that we do, but they have it's good for them. It's good for I think music in general to get to that next layer of stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, AI will never have that emotion. It won't understand the emotion. It won't be able to feel it. It won't be able to sing it. It'll be able to sing and fake it. But when you have humans writing and composing a song for you and you're reading these words, a lot of times our producers and vocalists get so choked up they have to stop and they have to do the take again because they're crying because it means a lot to them. They're singing these words that like are going to be a part of somebody's greatest day of their life. So they want it to be perfect. They want it to be good. And
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I just think that AI has its place, and I think that there'll always be human artists, whether it's paintings or drawings or music or anything. I think people are kind of freaking out about AI, but I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I think the heart is what shines through in all of the art that is created by humans, by
Yes.
individuals with a specific point of view and all of that. So I tend to agree. And with something as meaningful as your wedding day, I don't recommend relying on AI for
Right.
much.
Right.
You want a real human for most things, I think.
Yeah. The cool thing about what we do too is about the live music stuff, right? AI can't play live. So a lot of couples will
So
get a
true.
song done and then we have sheet music available. So they'll have the song done, they'll have sheet music. I think we have some packages that have it, but they'll have the sheet music done and then if they're going to have a band, they'll have a band play it with the sheet music and then that's a whole nother level.
Wow.
Yeah, but then there's also like the instrumental version, right? So we'll take the vocals out and then they'll have little Susie sing the song to make everybody emotional live at the wedding. There's there's all kinds of cool things that I've heard over the years that people have done with these songs and it's just awesome. I a lot of the world is kind of messed up I think right now with a lot of these different things going on. There's like so many like kind of sad things. So I think what we do in our industry is just so uplifting and happy, and we're trying to make people happy. That's cool with me. Like I want to
Yeah.
make people happy. That's why I became a musician in the first place.
I love that so much. And I totally agree. Like having either the person who had the song commissioned and written, like singing it themselves, or having it played live by a band really does take that experience to like a whole other level. So it's cool to know that there are like so many options of like how couples could utilize this and incorporate it into their day.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, what would you say is one piece of advice that you would want to give to every couple planning their wedding right now?
Well, first, I would talk to Budget Savvy Bride because they they really know what they're doing. Um, and second, I would say, think about it and think about what you want for that day because, you know, like you were saying earlier, you know, things go away. Like the flowers don't live. I mean, everybody's gonna have flowers at their wedding. Of course, I love flowers too, but they go away. A lot of things go away. The stuff that you're not gonna hold on to. But something that you can really just have forever. There's few things really of that day. Pictures, video, which are all awesome, but there's other things too. And I would say really think about not just a song. I mean, just think about what you want from that day to look back on in 10 years and be like, wow, that was really special. I think that's what I'd like, you know, couples and parents and family to think about. Like really think about, do you need that $500 for this? Or is it better spent over here where it'll be something that'll be there forever? That's the advice I would give.
I love that so much and definitely aligned with what we always say. So, why don't you give everyone tuning in just a little details on where they can find out more about you and your business and what you do, so
Sure.
they can look you up and find out more about all the great stuff.
Thank you. So yeah, you just go to yourdayoursong.com. It's just yourdayoursong.com. And then look at our site. You can listen to some songs that we've done. You can check out stuff on the internet all over the place. But
You've got a great
it's
YouTube channel, right? With like a lot of the examples too.
sort of my one site does, but not so much your date. We're still coming to really trying to get this thing rolling out because we want people to know about it. We have a couple of websites, we have a couple of different production companies, but this is something that has been so like magical. It's been so just awesome that we want more people to know about it. We want to do this for more people because like I said, oftentimes it becomes the main focus of the wedding, and everybody's just like, "Wow, how did you do that? What did you do?" Bob is not a writer. How did Bob write that song? And
Yeah.
so it becomes really cool that way. But yeah, so yourdayoursong.com is where you can go to check us out and check out some songs. And other than that, yeah, you can email me too at david@songmakerproductions.com, and I'll answer your email personally.
Awesome. Well, this was so great. I just love how this conversation has really highlighted like what weddings are really all about. It's not about having something that's like Pinterest perfect, but more so about like the meaningfulness behind the day and making it really personal to you. So, I really hope this inspires all of our attendees to think more deeply about how you can weave, your own personal love story into your day, whether it's through a custom song or something else. So, to your point, David, I think at the end of everything, even the guests who attend a wedding, like what they remember most isn't typically like the centerpieces or the seating chart. It's like the emotions and the energy and the way they felt and the things they experienced. And I think that's just something that's great to leave all of our couples with as we wrap this up. So thank you so much again, David, for joining me. This is so great.
You're welcome.
um
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thanks so much, and stay tuned for the next session of the Savvy Wedding Summit.